Hi everyone, once again, Coach DJ and Jethro, head physiotherapist at Human 2.0, aka the physio and the beard. And today we'll be talking to you about shoulder impingement, what it is, how it happens, and we're going to show you some quick exercises to help prevent that from happening. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, shoulder impingement is basically when the alignment of the shoulder, okay, if you see me from the side, if your shoulders are rotated a little bit too much towards the front, so if they're poking forward a little bit, there's less room for the muscles of the shoulder or in the rotator cuff to move. So when muscles contract, they swell. So when you flex your bicep, flex your leg, you can see the muscle will just kind of balloon a little bit. So when you do that and your shoulders are rolled forward a little bit, there's less room for those muscles in the shoulder to actually move, breathe, and slide. The way I tend to describe it to patients is that it's almost like the train is off the tracks a little bit. That's why sometimes you'll hear popping, clicking, snapping, etc. Now, with some people, they can have a poor posture but have no symptoms. So it is a case-by-case situation, but typically across the board, you will see shoulders rolled forward, less room to move, and the pain associated. Okay, how does that happen? Typically, you see it a lot with people who are in positions at desks, where they're kind of slouched into this position. I call them Mr. Burns position, okay? Like this, okay? So when the shoulders roll forward in this position, so a lot of administrators, tech workers, but you will also see a lot with drivers, because most people do not drive like this, they tend to drive like this. But again, case-by-case situation. So what that also means is that the muscles in the front start to be a little bit tighter, so everything kind of pulls forward. And we've said in the past in some of our videos that muscles that are in a lengthened position tend to be weaker. So the muscles in the upper back, instead of being nice and strong, they've now been pulled into this position based on posture, okay? So it's like if I said, hey, Coach DJ, here's 5 pounds. If you hold it like this, you probably hold it all day. If you hold it like this, even if it's 5 pounds, over time you would start to shake. Of course, our shoulders don't shake, but at the same time, it puts them in a negative position to be holding your shoulders in this position. Okay, so that's pretty much it with shoulder impingement, and the reason that you will get the pain not only due to the pinching of the muscle, but you also have a lot of nerve tissue that runs through the shoulder as well. That's why some people, when they work at desks and so forth, they'll complain of hand tingling, numbness, and it's often confused with things like carpal tunnel or nerve impingement in the neck, but it's actually stemming from the shoulder. Cool. So Coach DJ is going to show you guys just a few exercises that can help alleviate some of the discomfort and actually prevent some of this shoulder impingement from happening.
All right, so what we're going to do is start with a couple exercises that get things moving in the proper direction and with the proper amount of range of motion. All right, so we're just going to start with some basic scapular cars. I'm going to start with my hands down to my sides, but I'll show you a couple progressions for that. So I'm going to think about 4 positions here. I'm going to go up, forward, down, and back. So I'm not moving anything other than my scapula. All right, and then I would switch directions, trying to connect the dots of those 4 points, right, that the shoulder should be able to move into. Next progression for that would be to try and do it with your arms out straight. What a lot of people will do here is they'll bend their elbows. So I'm trying not to bend my elbows. I'm going to go up, reach out, go down, and pull back. The other thing that I'm trying to avoid is any type of movement in the spine where I kind of start doing like cat-cow stuff, spinal waves. All right, so we don't want to do that either. After that, the last progression that I would say for a typical office worker or somebody that's not in a gym while doing this would be to just get down onto your hands and knees, right? And work on that position from a more loaded position, okay? So that's just scapular cars, controlled articular rotations, just to get things moving.
Now, before you move on, I know that some of you who will see this will say, well, if the shoulders are already rolled forward, why would you roll forward? Now, the whole idea is that we want to keep the shoulder mobile. We want to keep it moving. And one of the biggest mistakes that some people make is, oh, if it hurts in this position, I'm going to avoid it at all costs. Okay? Dr. Rayner, who's the orthopedic surgeon here, he has a great quote when it comes to shoulder mobility. He says that the shoulder blade, or the scapula, is the stage on which the shoulder performs. Mm-hmm. So if your shoulder blade doesn't move very well, regardless of which position you're in, then the shoulder's not going to move very well either, and you're going to have that pain. Yeah. So sometimes what I will do is, for a small amount of time, I will have people do the same motion you just showed us, but I will have them roll forward a little less, right, and really focus on the posterior or back part of the movement. But then over time, I will have them do the entire movement, because we still need the shoulder blade to move in order for the shoulder to move in an optimal manner.
Yeah, you can take out any one of those points, right? The up, forward, down, back. Take out any one of those or multiple of those, and just focus on those positions, which we're going to kind of do that now. So all you need for this is a wall. These are called wall elves. So what I'm going to do is stand nice and close to the wall with my elbows at 90 degrees roughly. Am I good yet?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm going to put my forehead on the wall, and keeping my shoulders down away from my ears, I'm just going to pivot on my elbows and try and pull my hands and wrists off the wall. So I'm not just doing wrist extension, I'm trying to move in the shoulder joint. So my shoulder is literally moving in the joint like that. So I'm really getting some good sensations in the back of the shoulder and right in the capsule. All right, so we can do sets of 5 to 10 of those. You can also do that on the floor. And if that's not working because we're hiking up too much, then we can work on arms out to the side and pulling back. And again, this is kind of like a strengthening exercise. All right, and the last thing we want to do, all right, and is, like Jethro was saying, the shortening of the front side. We want to stretch that out so that it's less work for the shoulder to be able to get back there. All right, so typical pec stretch. All right, I'm going to start with my hand out in a T. I'm going to dig my shoulder forward, right, and then roll myself over, squeezing my shoulder blade, and I feel a nice stretch in my bicep in the front of the shoulder and a little bit in the pec. And then from there, I can move my arm up and get it much more in the chest, bicep, and from the shoulder at a more intense level. All right.
Now make sure when you're in this position, like Coach DJ is showing us right now, that you keep that neck as relaxed as you can. Because for most of us, as a habit, when we start to do things with our shoulders, our necks start to do this. And then that just creates tension in the neck as well, so it makes it counterproductive.
Yeah. One more stretch for that, now that I think about it, is we can do a doorway stretch. So all you need is a doorway for this. My elbow goes at 90 degrees, like the wall elves, and all I'm gonna do is step forward and try and keep everything nice and neutral and just stretch in that pec. All right, so those are 3 exercises, couple movement drills, and then a stretch to release the front side. And I think that pretty much covers it for an intro to rehab exercises for shoulder impingement.
That's just a little bit of information on shoulder impingement, as well as how to help to prevent it. But by all means, if you are still unsure of what may be going on with your shoulder, please consult a physician or go see a physiotherapist.